Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You're here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. I actually played a fair amount of games this week trying to get that new commander. But I didn't have a lot of good games. I was trying out a lot of the new ships to see if the buffs made any difference. And so we settled on the Italian Tier 6 Tech Tree Destroyer Luca Tarigo, which, if the patch notes are correct, received a scintillating buff of 1 second in its main battery reload time. Looking back at my own Luca Tarigo early access video, 2 kills, only 25,000 damage. But we did have 2,782 base XP. So I'm hoping to do better than that in this game with this ship. So just checking it out, it is the exact same ship with just a little bit quicker main battery reload. Quite frankly, I don't really think that makes enough of a difference, pardon me, in the DPM of this ship. But at the end of the day, something is better than nothing. And I will take it when it comes to wargaming, making changes to these gunboat destroyers, which are really handicapped, in my opinion, in the current meta. Now, there is no aircraft carrier in this game. That is the good thing. But that being said, in many games, especially if you're down tier, there's tons of radar. There's tons of carriers out there being played, especially after new updates. And really, this game is a luxury in that we don't have to worry about carrier planes, because that's a huge weakness for this ship. It's a huge weakness for French destroyers. It's a huge weakness for the Russian ships, because all those 3 destroyer lines have terrible AA. But that being said, any buff is a good buff when it comes to the Italian ships, and I'll take it. So we're just shot some torpedoes into the gap, and we're moving into Alpha to try to capture Alpha. And really, we're just doing the gunboat stuff because we're a gunboat. There is only 1 destroyer on the enemy team, so this isn't going to be a true and accurate representation of the gunfighting power. But if I'm rememberizing what I said correctly about these ships the first time, is that you will have no problem beating the enemy destroyer 1v1 if it's the same tier as you. But then you will have a problem because you'll have won the battle, but you have almost no hit points left at the end of it. So I know these aren't supposed to be torpedo focused, but I think you'll see most of the damage we do in this match is from our torpedoes rather than our guns. Simply put, I don't think in the big scheme of things, this reload reduction that they gave is really going to make a difference. And I have the gunboat commander for the Italians in here, so it's not like I built the ship wrong. I built them all as gunboats in the initial rollout of the line in early access, and I haven't changed that. The only thing that changed was this half second or second quicker reload. And I think it's a half second on Cuniberti, and then it's 1.2 seconds on Adriatico. And I played good matches on all those ships, but nothing worthy of showing here except for this one. So, is that the enemy destroyer? I think it is. We just shot some torpedoes at the Jean Bart and the Lenin. We're down here in this match, so really, we're going to need to use our torpedoes a lot to make a difference, and I just don't see that happening. One thing I really am thankful for is that you still have the option of HE on these destroyers. They didn't give you AP and SAP. I really prefer having the choice between AG and SAP, simply because fires are a great way to kill an enemy ship, and you need to be able to set them. All right, Lenin going out here into the gap. We are going to launch one set of torpedoes at the Lenin But unfortunately, I think he realized I did that and he turned away. That being said, we did get one torpedo strike on the Jean Bart, presumably. And now, because we're going around the corner of the island, I will fire one salvo and do almost no damage. And then we drop spot. I mean, that's kind of what you have to do sometimes. Chip a little bit and then run away. And we did not get a torpedo strike. I'm presuming when he turned in, he avoided them all. So I'm going to send another salvo right here. And then you can see by the indicator, these are probably going to miss as well. They aren't fast enough. They don't do enough damage anyway. I hate to say that, but these ship torpedoes, the Pan-European ship torpedoes, really you're hoping for a flood. Really you're hoping you can get one torpedo to hit, start a flood, and then hope that the person you torped doesn't have has their repair party or their damage con on cooldown. Because that's the only way you're going to get that flood to stick and make any kind of damage. All right, we shot at a Nagato who's come through the gap there. I don't have high hopes at this point. So, I'm sorry this doesn't have a lot more excitement here. I mean, at some point it will, but that point is not now. Looking up at the scoreboard, our team just lost our third ship. We're down by almost 200 points, and the enemy has lost one ship, which I had nothing to do with. The cap that we captured solo was just flipped back to the enemy, and so the blue team is in full retreat, and we are just hoping to do some damage here. All right, looks like we're going to get 2 torpedo strikes on Nagato. Actually do some relatively nice damage. I see that the Lenin is going straight up the middle into our cap, so I'm turning to put the torps out on him as soon as we get our reload. Close that distance a little bit because the torps are somewhat short range, and so essentially we're just going to drive in a circle here to get that torpedo in range. Meanwhile, where were those torpedoes at? I don't even know. That's the best part. I don't even know where those torpedoes were at. I guess I shot those at the Nagato too. And we got hits. So Nagato's about half health, and he is flooding. Gneisenau over there. Looks like Nagato's going to be safely behind the island. We are going to engage Gneisenau just on the indicator. Turning back over here towards Lenin, who is taken out, and Jean Bart continuing to come up the middle. And I'm just heading that way, trying to get a reload. But we got almost 35 seconds left before that reload. Meanwhile, the enemies continued to encroach. We have leveled it up in terms of ships killed. No thanks to me. Now we're down by 1. But we're just trying to do our part here. The Luca Tarigo is not a ship that's going to single-handedly carry. I'm sorry, it's not. So you have to do whatever you can to help your team win. All right, couple more torpedo strikes there on Gneisenau. We are working on our reload and about to fire again. Looks like he's starting to turn his heading in. But we're just going to launch on an indicator, and then in retrospect, that doesn't look like a bad idea. So we'll just let that ride. All right, moving over towards the Delta Cap, I think. That's where the enemy destroyer is. Right now, I start to get the sinking feeling that none of my torps are going to hit Gneisenau, because Gneisenau is turning his heading rather quickly, and all those torps are going to miss. So instead, we are going to try to predict where Gneisenau is going to end up, and then we're going to launch. And we end up launching right on the indicator. That was probably done. Torps coming through the gap here over by Delta. And I think Gneisenau just changed direction again abruptly. So now those torps have no chance of hitting. And so basically that's a wash on that. Meanwhile, our team has continued to get pummeled. And we are down to 4 ships remaining. And the enemy has only lost 3 ships. So that is not good. Plus they have all 3 caps and are not in danger of getting any of them flipped. We're going to send one last salvo towards Gneisenau. And then we're going to turn hard to starboard and go around the outside of this island. Mostly because it initially looked like that ship was heading right at me. When I hit the rolling smoke, he turned in. So that's my bad, I guess. I got a no health ally over here and anchorage. So he probably won't be able to do a whole lot to help us out, but we're 2 of the 3 ships remaining. I'm going to cut the corner here and skirt in between the anchorage and the island. And hopefully get a good chance to engage enemy ships. By the way, we're up to 75,000 damage. Again, 99.9% of that is from torpedoes. And the other 1% is from a dirty look. Alright, we are spotted in the guaranteed detectability of the enemy ship. He is turning hard. We're going to torp. Are we going to torp? Inside the turning circle a little bit. Enemy destroyer pops up, engaging with the SAP. As you can see, really tore him up. Another salvo. He should have turned in. Kill number 1. We are going to send another torpedo salvo towards the Leon as we dodge torpedoes from the enemy destroyer. We are going to get 2 torpedo strikes. So if we'd gotten the 3rd strike, we would have finished them off, but we did not. And at this point, these torpedoes reload too long to do anything except die, and that is the end of the game. All right, so here on the defeat screen, we ended up doing 117,010 total damage, 12 torpedo strikes, a solo base cap, and 1 kill. So damage output compared to the early access game, yes, tremendous. Clearly in our 1 gunfight with a wounded destroyer, we didn't have any problem finishing him off. We did finish at the top of the board, 1621 base XP. That would be about 2,400 base XP in a win. So less XP than our match where we had 25k damage. So it's not as good of a match. Clearly we needed more help from our team. Here is the one change, the reload. As you can see, our reload is 5.2 because of our commander skills. Ordinarily it would be 5.5 here in the Luca Tarigo. I will try my best to get either Leone video or a Vittorio Cuniberti video up for Thursday. In fact, as soon as I stop talking, I'm probably going to go play to try to get some more matches in. And so hopefully that'll be good. Anyway, in the big scheme of things, do the changes make a difference for Luca Tarigo? Probably not, unless you're in a match with multiple destroyers and you get in multiple gunfights. By the way, who created this camo? Yikes. Like, comment, subscribe down below, folks. I will see you on the next video.